It's the way it just got on fire.
I don't know what happened. Within an hour, it was like on what, 50 likes, and then within a couple of hours, it's on 2,000 likes. I didn't understand it.
I found it amazing. I was like, yo, they're really roasting my boy, fam.
You didn't do shit about it, did you?
I mean, what do you want me to do? I can't save you here. We're talking about Twitter. Twitter is the land of the unknown.
Clearly.
Someone said this guy was born in the 1800s. Do you know what? It's just the absurdity of what is going on that I find amazing. These are really making it like 29 is you was born in.
Ageism is real, bro.
Fam, they said that Yemi viewed the revolution, bruv.
Which one?
Someone goes.
You man are really scrolling through these things, aren't you?
Yeah.
Someone goes using the Sony Ericsson question mark.
That is
My thing is-
bad.
Someone goes, did you see dinosaurs on the way to school?
This good. They said Yemi used a feather pen to write. Dipped it in.
Like he's Shakespeare.
I feel like you said
He probably wore the costume as well.
God, someone goes,
you
yeah.
man are neeks. Why do you just tap your feet on the floor?
Someone
You man are
goes,
neeks.
Wait, Yemi, did I say that?
I feel like you said
that
it on the
was you.
chat.
I might
Someone goes,
have remixed the couple.
What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 54 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast with your boys Peter,
Yo.
Mohammed,
yo, yo, yo.
and myself, Yemi. Another day, another pod, guys. How are we today?
Bloody tired, mate.
Why are you tired?
I had a late night yesterday, man.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Shut
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, it was my boys.
Whoa, whoa.
It was my boys' 30th, man. Big up Q.
Big up Q.
Yeah.
Big up,
We
Q.
had a very late night, man. So yeah, I'm just very, very tired. And I had no like drink, but I just feel like so slow.
You know what we call that?
What?
Old age.
Shut the fuck up.
Definitely old age. And we've been feeling old age this week. I know I have.
you got
Yeah.
bullied down.
Oh yeah. They destroyed you.
I tweeted something very innocent about T-Pain and, you know, liking Buy You a Drink and how
In
when
what
it
year?
came out, it was 2007 and I was in year 10.
God.
And Twitter let loose on me.
Just
you
to
know,
put in context, it's over 300 quote tweets.
Yeah, I got over like the tweet itself got liked about 4,500 or 900 times. Lots of quote tweets, a lot of retweets, basically telling me how old I was. You know, I was told that I did work experience at Safeways.
You went to school
For our non British listeners, Safeways is a very old chain of supermarkets here. I was told I went to school with Susan Boyle, Tim Westwood, and Frank.
I saw someone said you shopped in Quick Save as well.
Yeah, shopped at Quick Save. Shout out Quick Save. I saw the OJ case live.
They said that this guy had an autographed Bible.
I said,
Do you know what that means? I said Jesus himself autographed it.
Jesus himself, the Most High. Yeah,
Oh man.
very much feeling my age today. Well, this week anyway, and I'm only 29.
Yeah.
It's very mad. Mohammed, how are you?
I'm good, man. Chilling. I went for a lot of music recently, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. I mean, you've
Yeah.
also got into a haircut as well.
I had to, man. I was
About
looking-
time.
Bro, yo, they pull up outside your crib, you know.
Who?
I've done it on something called Trim It. So it's an online
App.
And then they come outside your house. So the guy come out like 11 o'clock, late night, pulled up outside my crib. It's calm, just a little van.
So what, did he cut it outside the house?
Nah, you go inside a van, whatever, and then he's got a seat, he's got the clippers, everything. It's a full setup.
That sounds good.
Like, bro, it's so calm. The only annoying thing about it is you leave the door open for fresh air. So like it's a side door of a caravan, innit? Not like a caravan, like a van. The only annoying thing is you're getting a trim, you're sitting there, and it's like on a quiet road, but people could just be walking past you. Does that make sense?
That's fine though, isn't it?
Nah, man, there was two crackers that were just annoying. Like, I'm getting a haircut. Oh my God, that looks so... Fuck off, bro. Like, do you know how awkward it's trying to get a haircut? And you got two crackers looking inside the van and just what's going on here?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's hella calm, man. They come to your house, save you time. Money's the same about. So, I needed it, man.
That sounds interesting. I've never heard of that app before.
I never, bro, Ozzy brought me onto it. I never knew what it was before. And he goes, his boy used it. I'll recommend it, man. Like, it was solid. The guy tells me, like, before they can start trimming people's hair, they go through multiple stages of like that they're good enough. So it's not like you just get any dead guy, like can't get like I don't know, someone that's whack. They have to know what they're doing. And he done all right, man. I wish he was a little bit lower, but he's moving it.
I mean, not bad for
Oh, he pushed my hairline forward as well, so salute to him forever.
I didn't even know that was possible.
He told me. He put some clippers in my hair and I don't know what he done. He goes, yo, bro, I'll put it forward a little bit. I go, salute to you forever, fam.
Yeah, how are you, bruv?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm here, chilling. You know, after the humbling, I'm just here, man, recovering. I'm just.
Yeah, they really slapped you about, bro.
They did with no remorse.
Because I was even getting messages like, "Yo, why is Yemi going viral?" I'm like, "Wait, what? Yemi's viral?" And
Yeah, that was definitely a viral.
yeah, I was just like, and then I put it in the group chat. I was like, "Oh shit!"
First time I've properly gone viral, and it's a bittersweet feeling.
Yeah, the first time you've gone viral.
I mean, to that extent, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'd like to have been for my work or, you know, something fly that I might have said, but no, it was very much at my expense. So, you know, but it's all good. Shout out to everybody that, you know, worked so hard to insult me and, you know, make me feel this small. But other than that.
Fam, they said that you remember Watergate.
Shout out to the person that said that as well. That was an amazing one.
Shout out to the person that
Shout out to the person that wrote that one. That's
yeah, I know where they live. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that was funny.
Also, speaking of work, did you write about Reasonable Doubt?
I did, yes. I wrote for The Independent, but basically the story about Reasonable Doubt with help from the brilliant new audio series by Breaking Atoms, friend of the podcast. They've done a new audio series, 5 parts, basically talking about the origin story of Reasonable Doubt, and using that, I wrote about the story for Independent. So shout out to The Independent. Shout out to Breaking Atoms, Chris and Summit, doing the damn thing.
Salute to them.
They've got another one of those for the Blueprint coming soon. So looking forward to that. So shout out to them. I also want to shout out a local paper in London called the Peckham Peculiar, which basically interviewed us and put us on the paper of their latest issue. So big shout out to Peckham Peculiar. Big shout out to Emma Finnemore, who wrote the story.
Salute to you. Salute to you. I'm from Tottenham, by the way, but salute to you.
Yeah. He was made out to be from East London, but really that's not the case. But yeah, big up Peckham Peculiar each and every time. Yeah, very humbling, very, very honoured to have been part of that. So, yeah, man, shout out. And shout out to everybody listening as well, whether you're listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, YouTube. Yeah, man, thank you for listening. We hope you keep listening. Follow, share, comment, rate wherever you can. It really helps us grow as a podcast. Anyway, guys, without further ado, I'm going to start with Mohammed because I know he's very excited to tell me what he's been listening to this week. So, Mohammed, what have you been listening to this week?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Go ahead, sir.
So
you said in pre-pod that you had an apology?
Yeah, I owe an artist apology.
Oh.
Yep. I owe Tyler the Creator an apology.
Okay.
I think I was kind of harsh and fucking for no reason.
Kind of.
Yeah, I don't think I was too deep onto him, but this is the first album I sat with Tyler the Creator. Like, sat with.
What album is this?
What's it actually called?
Call Me If You Get Lost.
Call Me If You Get
His
Lost.
new album.
Yeah. So this is the first one I've actually sat with and thought, let me just take this time in to really see what he's about. And also because whenever Drama does a Gangster Grills, I always tune in. I feel like Drama is one of the best.
Is it a Gangster Grills?
Essentially it is, but it's an album, Gangster Grills.
basically is.
It basically is a Gangster Grills.
So is it a mixtape?
No, but it's an album.
It's an album, but it's got drama all over it.
Yeah. You hear Gangster Grills all over the album. So whenever you hear Gangster, you already know. Whenever you hear Gangster Grills, I always kind of tune in because I fuck with Drama a lot. So I was like, right, this is an awkward one. Like, I couldn't see it before. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, man, I'll put Tyler apology, bro. I didn't know he could rap like this. Like, I didn't know he got this busy.
You were sleeping.
The NBA Youngboy verse feature was an epic. The Doug one was epic. Every feature he picked was good. I didn't like the Wayne feature, but every feature
You didn't like the Wayne feature?
No, I didn't like Wayne's verse.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't like Wayne's verse.
Come on, Mo.
I'm so sorry. I didn't like Wayne's verse on it. I didn't.
He arguably had the best verse of the whole thing.
No, I didn't like. I liked NBA Youngboy's verse out of every feature. To me, NBA Youngboy killed it the most.
Mad.
Out of all the features in it, NBA Youngboy. But anyway, yeah, man, I didn't know he could bar like this. The first track of the song he bodied, the flow switch ups on the album was disgusting. This is outside the Cole album, and I'll be honest with you, I can see myself by the time this is all done saying this is my favorite album of the year, which is mad for Tyler the Creator with me. I would never would have thought Tyler the Creator would have a favorite album of the year for me, but it's already in my top 2, and I've gone back to this more times than I went back to Cole's album when it first dropped.
Yeah. Like,
I've gone back to this 4 or 5 times, like legit, and not skipping a track. And that's so rare in 2021 to be like, yo, I can't find a track there that's got a flaw. Even the ones with Tyler by himself, he's barring. He's like ridiculously. I didn't know. Like, I remember him from Marshals versus Goblins with the Games album, all of that. But the way it just seems he's elevated and the comfortability he's at now, and just he's in a comfortable place where it's like, let me just shit on people. And that's the kind of rap I love. So I don't know if it was a case of where he switched it up, but he gave me everything I've looked for in a rapper. So yeah, this is definitely my top 2 album of the year. I think it's gonna end up being my favorite album of the year when it's all said and done. So yeah, I'll apology, man. I really fucked with this album. Like I can't point to words. And also I listened to Rosenberg's album as well.
Peter Rosenberg.
Yeah, Peter Rosenberg's album I listened to it as well because of the names on it. I kind of liked. I like what he done where he stood behind it and just let these guys rap. So I wasn't mad at that. But Tyler's album is the one I've listened to the most the last 3 days.
Tyler's that guy I tried to tell you.
Yeah, no, you did. So I'll give you that. I can't argue with that at all. Yo, I apologize to you too, I guess.
Yeah, you should.
You've been telling me for time.
I accept your apology on behalf of Tyler.
I appreciate that because I've cussed Tyler fans. I've cussed Tyler the creator.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I've now got to take that humbling and go, yo, I get it now. I seize it.
Listen, man, humbling's a part of growth.
Yeah, man. Like, yo, have you listened to the album?
No, not yet.
Yo, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, you can tell me if you feel like I'm gassing it.
No, it's a great album. I feel like, and I said this to you before, I think it's his best album since Flower Boy, which is the album before last. I think with Igor, he obviously went a different direction. And then with this one, he just let everybody know that, yo, I can really rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Still nice with the beats. The fact that dramas come through with that cosign as well. And another thing, like between Igor and this new album, he's been collaborating with like Freddie Gibbs, West Side Gun and stuff. So people are recognizing that this guy is nice.
Yeah.
So he's developing in real time and he's getting that respect from both ends of the spectrum.
The features he's got was like, even I was like, oh, bro, I can't see how this is going to fit. Like, it's not people I would expect. Like, but everything went
You can't deny Tyler, man.
Everything went well. Like, this album, everything fitted. Like, I really, 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 really like this album. So salute to Tyler.
Salute to him, man. Salute to him.
Not everyone could drop a good album. We're about to get into... Hey.
You love that. You love doing that. That's cool, though. Are you done?
Yeah.
Right, cool. Pete, what have you been listening to?
I've been listening to Sky Zoo's new album called All the Brilliant Things, which was a really good album. I don't know if I'm ready to say if it's one of the best of the year yet, just because I'm just taking it in as it is. But it's a really good album, though, man. I'm not sure if it's his best yet, but yeah, really fucking good. I've been listening to Her's new album, which, yeah, man.
What a long pause, bro.
You look disappointed.
It's not what it should have been, and I love her.
You disappointed?
Yeah. She's too talented for the album to not be better than it is, man. And like, you know, the EPs the first couple of EPs she dropped were amazing. Her last project, which was, you know, really good as well. This album was unnecessarily long, and I don't know, man. It just wasn't what it was supposed to be for me. Damn. There's a song on there called Process that I absolutely love, and there's a song with Ty Dolla $ign that I absolutely love. There's a song called Damage, which is probably one of my favorite R&B songs in a very long time. But other than those ones, there's not many songs on there that I'll go back to. So yeah, I've been listening to that album. Tiana Taylor's last album I've been like revisiting. I really enjoyed.
You enjoyed that?
Yeah. It's got some really dope moments on there, man.
She said she was
a really, really long album, but really some good moments on there.
One of the most meaty albums I've listened to in the last year.
Oh wow.
What, mid?
It's so mid.
Oh, nah,
and I'd even say it's even below mid. It's not good, bro.
Oh, you're bugging.
To me.
You're bugging.
It's not good to me.
Yeah, bring that.
I like it, man. But I'm an R&B head, innit? So I fucks with it. But what else I've been listening to? I've been listening to Ransom, his 7 EP, which like is fire.
Very fire.
That's it really. Yeah, that's it really.
Feel that mixed bag.
Yeah, what about you?
Like Mo, I've been listening to the new Tyler album. I've pretty much been rinsing that. It's just a great album. I like the fact that he was experimenting. There's a point in that album where it goes to like ska/lovers rock, and it kind of caught me for a loop because obviously I know that Tyler's very like experimental when it comes to production, but I didn't think like he knew about lovers rock like that. So I was just like, right, this is a very pleasant surprise. But yeah, man, dope album. I've been listening to the Ransom EP as well. 7, listened to that yesterday. Very dope. I think Ransom has like one of the best vocal tones in the game right now.
100%.
I think everything he says has authority and has punch and has weight.
Do you think he sounds like Benny, the Butcher?
Nah.
No?
I don't think so.
Because I've heard people say that, and I'm not
like
sure if I agree, but
there's
there's a similarity in their delivery that I hear. Not necessarily a vocal tone, but how they deliver their bars. I don't know. I feel something quite similar there.
I think Ransom's more scientific with it though. Like his bars are always hitting the beat.
He's more lyrical.
And he's more lyrical as well. So I think it's just a little bit more
precise. Maybe
he's a lot more precise with it.
Yeah.
I think Benny might be not rough, but he might be less precise than Ransom. But they could be twins, like facially. But dope EP. I listened to the new Pierre Bourne album, The Life of Pierre.
He's got one.
5. It wasn't good. I just think he should stick to producing and not like trying to sing, because he's got nothing to say, nothing at all.
Oh wait, he's the artist.
He's the artist, yeah.
I thought he was just
he's singing,
producing, and then
no, he's singing and
like
producing.
Khaled type thing.
No, he's singing and producing. So he's an artist.
Yeah.
He's singing and producing. He's got Uzi on there. He's got Playboy Carti on there. Yeah, just don't touch it really. I listened to the new Salt Project 9. Super dope. It's kind of got like a London theme to it, like as far as like society, gang culture, this sort of thing. So that was really nice to hear. Little Sims killed her verse as well. I want to say someone else collabed on there that you might know, but I can't remember.
It's Cleo Soul all over it.
Cleo Soul is all over it.
This is a hoodie, by the way.
Is
it?
I'm seeing it now.
Yeah.
Oh, salute to him.
Salute to Cleo Soul if you're listening.
He'll do his
He's
shout.
wearing your hoodie. He's wearing your apparel.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, she's all over it, singing beautifully, as she is, I listened to a rock album by a group called Black Midi, called Cavalcade, and the drummer's black, so that's probably where it comes from. It was okay. And I've also listened to a dope artist from London called Wesley Joseph, who's like a singer, rapper, producer. He dropped a project called Ultramarine, which was super dope. If you don't know about Wesley Joseph, get involved. Very, very dope, introspective, experimental. Georgia Smith features. Probably my least favorite song on that project, to be fair. But he's in good places with around good people, or weighty people anyway. And I've been listening to some Illa J as well.
Okay.
I've never really tackled much of his work, but I listened to the Yancey Boys project. I came for the beats, I stayed for the rhymes. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Without further ado then, let's get on to the first topic. So Mo alluded to one album not being as good as Tyler. And, well, I guess that's down to perception, but what we're going to do today is we're going to review the new Migos album, Culture 3. Someone in this room is shaking their head already.
He is shaking his head already, isn't it?
I mean, listen, this is going to be a good review, isn't it?
Hey.
So, Migos just dropped the 3rd installment of their Culture album series. They dropped it, I think, a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week. One of them ones. 19 tracks. I think it's like just over an hour long.
Hour 15.
Hour 15. It's got collaborations from the likes of Cardi B, Pop Smoke, Juice WRLD, NBA Youngboy, Drake, Polo G, and a few others. Now, you know what you're getting with Migos, innit? Migos, Quavo, Offset, Takeoff, the kings of trap, in a sense. Before I even start to reveal anybody's opinions on it, I'm going to ask people what they thought, and Peter is clearly desperate to get started.
Can take the wheel.
And as a note, audience, the only reason why we're really doing this is just to see what Peter thinks. We set him a challenge to actually listen to the album, just to see if he enjoyed it. I don't think there was any plans to really make it a topic to talk about, but since we're here, might as well. So Peter, the floor is yours. Thoughts on Migos, Culture 3.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna just say this, innit? Like, I wasn't looking forward to listening to this shit.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, from the jump, I thought that it would be a complete waste of my time. You know, I value my time.
So when did you listen to it, Pete?
I listened to a bit of it yesterday and listened to quite a bit of it today. And yeah, to be honest with you, man, like, I'm gonna be real. Like, it's got bops on there, man. Like, it's got. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a time and place for it, and there's songs on there that I can definitely vibe to and actually quite enjoyed. And it's a bop. Do you know what I mean? It got a bit repetitive at times. Just, I felt like a lot of the production was like very similar. But all in all, it weren't a horrible album. It wasn't a complete waste of my time. For me, the highest point on there was Straightening. That tune absolutely slaps. But it's probably not an album that I'll really be going back to. The only time I'll really play it is when I'm out with you, man, or if like we're turning up to go out or something. So there's definitely a time and place for it, and I'm okay with that. But generally, it's not really my type of music. It's not really something that I would listen to. It's not really my bag, but I can enjoy it for what it was. So it was an alright album. Like, it wasn't a bad album at all. But I mean, it's not something that I'd go back to off my own accord like that, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, it had some decent moments on there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Migos, you're always going to get a lot of good, you're always going to get a lot of bad, and you're always going to get a lot of mid anyway. They're not deep MCs, they're not deep artists in that way. Like they're literally just turn up music. So.
And that's fine, and that's okay, and that's how I was listening to it. I wasn't really
expecting bars.
I always listen to the bars, but I weren't really like analysing the bars. Like I was just hearing it. I wasn't really actively listening like that. But like even the production side of it just got a bit mundane after a while. Man, some of the beats were a bit boring for me, just me. And like I just after a while I was kind of like, no, I'm good. I could skip that. I could skip that sort of thing. But I liked the tune with Drake. Drake killed his verse. And I enjoyed.
Of course, he would like that.
I enjoyed Straighten In. I enjoyed Avalanche as well. So those first 3 songs were bad to me, but then after a while it got a bit. I liked the song with Bieber as well. I liked what's the name of the other song? Hold on, let me.
Cardi.
No, I didn't really enjoy the Cardi track. I liked Roadrunner as well. I liked Mahomes, and then that was kind of it for me. So that's like 6, 7 out of like
19.
19. So. Yeah, that's why I probably won't really go back to it. It's just not me, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But I gave it a chance.
Listen, all I want is for you to come out of your comfort zone a little bit more when it comes to these trappers and these. To be fair, Migos aren't even like new age. They've been around for a hot minute, so.
But I understand why people like them. Like I could hear it. I could hear why people enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not like awful rappers. Obviously, like compared to like the guys that I'm into, obviously not. But like for what they do, they are really good at what they do. I will never dispute that. But for me, it's just not a sound that I would want to listen to on a regular basis.
That's fair. I mean, trap isn't the most adventurous sound, and Migos aren't that adventurous in terms of subject matter either. But as you say, you know what you're getting from them. You're getting a vibe. You're getting, the flossing talk. You're getting, discarding the ops talk. And when you're trying to turn up, when you're just trying to be kind of live and stuff, trying to party, this is something you could just slap on easy.
Quavo's really good though. I like Quavo. I like his voice.
I think they're all good, man.
Yeah, I really like his voice particularly though.
I think he's the most like out there, just as far as what he does with his voice, because he can sing as well. Well, can sing. He does sing, and he's just a little bit more, I suppose, free form with it.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I'll just get onto my review of it. I enjoyed it, man, for what it was. Again, I knew what I was expecting going in. I know that I wasn't trying to be fulfilled lyrically. I just knew that once I stick it on, there are gonna be some things that I might want to dance to, I might want to bop to, and it gave me a lot of that, man. I think where they flopped with. And where they flop with a lot of their albums is it's just too long.
Yeah.
Like 19 songs. You could have taken out a good 6 or 7. And that was the problem with Culture 2. I haven't looked at the track list for Culture 2 today. It's got like 24 songs over an hour and 45 minutes. That's not necessary, bro. Especially when you're just talking about the same stuff over and over again.
Maybe that's more to do with like the streaming side of things.
It probably is, but...
Which I'd love to talk to about you guys one day though.
Fair. I mean, it probably is, but at the same time, like... As artists, you should just know that everything you've recorded doesn't need to be shared to the public. If I record 50 songs and then release all those 50 songs, chances are all those 50 songs are not going to be as good as each other. So I just wish, funnily enough, Quality Control was around for them to really just condense it down to what would be a short, digestible, enjoyable album. But for what it was, I did enjoy it. As opposed to you, I kind of like that. They took a couple risks sonically. Like Avalanche, they used the Papa Was a Rolling Stone kind of sample. Vaccine, sounds very majestic.
I like that song as well.
It's got the flutes and stuff. Malibu as well, very experimental. I think they're pushing the boundaries of what trap can sound like, even though it's still the same kind of drum patterns and trappy synths and stuff. What they're doing in and around that, for me, made the album a little bit more interesting compared to like a normal trapper, basically, who would just find, the hottest producer and just a very so-so generic trap beat. I feel like this, at least, while they're not saying anything new, at least they kind of pushed it forward and made it interesting with the sound. So I can appreciate them for doing that. I think performance-wise, I think they were all dope, man. Quavo did his thing. Offset did his thing. I think Takeoff's the MVP for his flows, for his rapping. Low-key, I think he's the best rapper in the group. Low-key. Him and Offset are talking to each other. So one day it could be Offset, next day it could be Takeoff. But
it's not really saying much, but okay.
Thanks for that. But for this album, I think Takeoff took it, man. I think he just anchored everything, like from his ad libs to, if Quavo's gonna do his like kind of singy stuff, and Offset is a little bit more like turn up. Takeoff's kind of like an amalgamation of both of them, to where he can do all of it, and he's flowing and flowing. I love some of the flows on this, man. On Roadrunner, like Offset's flow on the hook. Yeah, man, that was something, man. So you know, favorite tracks, I'll probably say Avalanche, Type Shit with Cardi B. That is the one where I'm just like, yo, if I hear this live, if we're at a party or whatever, like something's happening, fam.
Yeah.
Malibu was dope. Vaccine was dope. Light It Up with Pop Smoke was dope. I want to hear more Migos on drill. I think they could do that really well. But yeah, man, I think generally I didn't gain anything as far as like knowing who Migos are or what they're about or anything from this album, which really and truly you're not going to. But for what it was enjoyable. I would definitely stick this on when I'm not trying to when I'm not trying to dissect lyrics or anything like that and just like trying to vibe basically.
Yeah.
And that's what they're perfect for. So shout out to Migos for an enjoyable album. I mean, next time, maybe condense it a bit and then you'll have my attention a little bit more. But yeah, that's me. Drake. I mean,
He bodied his verse though. He bodied
it. Went on for ages, man.
It was Drake. It was Drake.
No, but he sounded great on that.
It went. Listen, I like braggadocious.
And that's slowly becoming my favorite type of Drake, man. When he's just stunning.
When he's stunning,
braggadocious.
Yeah, man.
That's the best.
I'm loving that, man.
That's definitely the best Drake.
Because he really gets into his bag when he just like, yo, I'm better than all you, man. All you, man, are below me. I love that Drake.
I can see.
I love that because I love introspective Drake too, but I love like flashy. You man ain't better than me, Drake too.
I've always preferred that though. I've always preferred the braggadocious.
No, I haven't. I prefer like the ride type of Drakes and you know them type of tunes. But I'm leaning.
No, I like Drake
towards
talking shit.
Yeah. I'm loving that way more.
Like Omerta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, come on,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? There's a few of them, man. So I feel like if he did 12 of those over an album, for me, that's the perfect Drake album for me.
He won't.
He's too talented to do that though. I think that's
such a cop out.
No, but it's the
That's
truth,
such
bro.
a cop out.
Bro, it's similar to Andre
That
3.
is-
It's why we will never get a fully rapped album by Andre 3000.
But my thing is though, you can do both. You could do just the rap album and then you can do whatever you want to do. Drake has been doing all this, you know, singy-songy, introspective, braggadocious over one album all his life. If he really wanted to, he could just strip it down to the braggadocious, get some soul samples in there, get some banging beats, and drop a classic, bro. But to your point, it probably won't happen, unfortunately. But we move. Mohammed, what were your thoughts on Culture 3?
I think that album's whack,
Right.
personally.
Straight off the park.
I think it's whack.
Straight out the back.
I think it's actually terrible. Don't think it's fair for you to give someone how many songs is the track list?
19.
Don't think it's fair to make someone listen to 19 songs of that. I think that should be illegal. I just don't get it, man. It's just the same thing in every. I just feel like it's so repetitive, man. I just feel like once you pass, and I fuck with the Migos. I liked Culture 1. Like, I genuinely fucked with Culture 1. Didn't like Culture 2 as much. Dislike this one even more. I just feel like everything is just so mundane and it becomes so the same. It's like, I get what you're saying when you say, they try drill beats and everything, but it's just like, at some point I want to see a growth in my artists. And I don't
Wait. Sorry, let me ask you a question. Is it samey in comparison to their previous albums, or did you find that the songs on this
the songs on the actual albums were the same, and it's the same as what I expect from them.
Okay.
And obviously, I'm not expecting them to jump out and do something wild, but it's just like the way I'm set up, I like to see growth in my artists. Whatever you do, regardless of whether you do drill, trap, anything, I just want to see some growth. And then, like you see it in Takeoff, you can see Takeoff where he was at the start to where he is now. But being the MVP in this album is like, I compare it to, you remember when Zogbia was at Wigan?
in Zogbia?
Yeah, and he was the MVP at Wigan.
Goodness.
Charles and Zuckerberg.
Yo, but he was the MVP at Wigan. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Then he went to Aston Villa with a couple of ballers.
Football talk, audience. Football
Yeah,
talk.
but my point being is, I don't think it's hard to be an MVP of this album. 'Cause
Question,
I don't think
though. Sorry.
anybody done anything. Wow.
Sorry to interrupt you though. Question. If you have one like Rolly, like Bust Down Rolly, one album, and then you got two on the next album, is that not growth?
You're a dickhead.
I'm just asking, man. These are the tough questions you have to answer.
The tough question.
Yo, fam. Hey, man. But in my point being, yeah, I just, like going through it now. Obviously, I like Straightening. I like the one with Cardi, but I just it's just not me. I generally just don't like that type of album. It's not something I go to, and a bit of me could blame Tyler the Creator because of what he gave me, and then I listen to this, and it's like it's night and day. It's like it's so the same. The chorus is the same last word 6 times.
Yeah.
The start of it is the same word 5 times. Then you mash that up together. Then you got Takeoff jumbling something together. Do you get what I mean? It's just like there's no cohesiveness. It's just I don't fuck with this album one bit. Like I can't. I think it's so whack.
You're saying that with chest, bro.
Yeah, nah. And you guys haven't heard me talk about when we do review of albums. I like.
It's been a while since you felt an album.
Yeah,
whack.
yeah. Like I honestly feel like this album is terrible, and respectfully,
No redeeming qualities.
there's not.
See, and Yem was expecting that from me. He was expecting.
Yeah, he was in it.
Yeah,
Plot twist.
And
100%.
normally with albums, the way we do it is I like to give a little bit of thought to it and think, cool, even if I think it's whack, let me see the angle they're coming from. Can't see the angle these men are coming from. I generally think they go studio and whatever comes out, comes out.
I mean, I haven't listened to their previous albums, but I mean, a tune like Avalanche that clearly is different to what their usual sound is. So is that not a level of growth
Not if it don't work.
You don't think it worked?
I don't think it
for
worked.
that particular song?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Damn.
Do you know where the sample's from though?
Nah.
Okay, maybe
Off
that's,
the top of my head, maybe not.
then maybe that's why.
Maybe. But nah, I just don't get it. I don't get the whole album. I just don't. This is the worst trilogy I've seen since Lord of the Rings.
Wow. Completely
I
unnecessary.
wasn't expecting that one.
Nah, this might be the worst trilogy since Lord of the Rings.
No, I do think outside of the lyrics and stuff, they are trying to
I'm
grow.
not, bro. I'm not looking for bars.
No,
I'm
of
not
course.
going for me.
No one's looking for bars
Yeah.
when
But
the Migos.
it's just I don't get it. Like you guys know me. I don't even listen to bars every day. That's just not me. I'm not someone that listens to. I'm not like a Peter who will listen to a Black Thought 6,000 times a day. So this ain't even a case of people going to be like, oh, this guy, all he does is listen to Nas and Black Thought. Do you get what I mean? I'm not even that guy. You guys know me.
And if you do that, Peter, you're very nasty.
No, but you get what I mean though. Like I'm not someone that just sits down with heavy bars and that's all my life is. I like to listen to people. I like to expand my thoughts. This is just a step too far for me, man.
Yeah.
Like half the time I don't think they're speaking English. Another half of the time I just genuinely think they guess words that just nah, man. Like how did Cardi B out-rap them? If we're being honest,
Nah.
to me, Cardi B out-rapped all of them in that song.
I don't even think she performed that well.
And even the Drake song, it was Drake featuring the Migos. It wasn't Migos featuring Drake. They gave the brother 6 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah, it was.
Tell me I'm lying. Was it not Migos? Honestly, it was Drake featuring the Migos.
No, it was.
I feel you.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you gave this, and he went the hardest in the whole album.
But
Right.
he would though, innit?
He would.
He's clearly the best
Yeah, but
rapper in it.
fair enough. But that song, you gave him 2.5 minutes. So he's featuring, he's got that song in your album. Then it's just, yeah, man, I don't get it. I'm not there for the album. Don't rate it. Don't like it. Won't go back to it.
So where does this leave the Migos then? Going forward.
don't
I mean,
affect
they're
shit.
they're still the Migos.
Migos are running
Yeah,
shit, bro.
they're
As far
still-
as like that sound
Yeah.
and, you know, their position within that realm, bro,
They're still-
they're top dogs.
Yeah, they're one bad album doesn't. And do you know what it is as well? Their target audience ain't me anyway. The people that have them on the Mount Rushmore isn't.
See, I'm quite surprised, Mo. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you would fuck with it because you're similar to Yemi in a respect where like if it's street orientated type of sound, you would fuck with it, whether it's trap or
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
So I'm
100%.
kind of surprised that you've taken the stance that you have.
I don't like it, bro. Like when I was
He's
listening,
reached his limit.
yeah, when I was listening to it, I was like, this ain't fair. Like, this ain't fair. How dare you man make me sit through this for an hour and 15 minutes?
See, if I would have said that, you man would have been like, "Oh, you're old. You're this. You're that."
He's
No.
old. too. He's in this scenario. He's old. as
No,
well.
don't get it twisted. You're worse than me still. Just me criticizing one
you are
band.
old.
Yeah, like, just, by the way, I know you want to say, like, me criticizing one band album, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, this album's whack.
You know why he's a bastard as well?
Why?
Because he wants to be able to say this. He wants to be able
No,
to
he
do
feels
what
like,
you're doing.
no, but he,
I would say it though if I wanted to say it.
yeah. So you don't think it's whack?
I don't think it's whack. I'm not gonna say that.
You think it's a level above whack?
I think it's an okay album, man. Like Straightening's going on my gym playlist for sure. The Tune with Drake's going on my gym playlist.
You can't. 2 out of 19 is whack.
No, and there's a couple others that I'll go back to. Listen, it's not my type of music, so I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
really even supposed to go back to because I don't fuck with this.
No, that's what I'm
anyway.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
But even just from an objective standpoint, to where I'm not into this sound, it's not an awful album, man. It's not awful hip hop music.
No, I think it's
It's
whack.
not, man.
I think it's
If you accept it for what it is, then
No, and I have. And I went to
it can't be whack, really.
I think it can, bro. I think I honestly think,
Subjective.
yeah,
Subjective,
man.
innit?
Like, I am not gonna go back to a single song, bar maybe the Drake one. I am not going back to a single song in the album.
That Straightening slaps differently, though, bro.
That's gonna get that. Might
That
get-
reminds me of something, though. That tune reminds me of something, like the do do do. Like it reminds me of something. I just can't.
Probably
I
another
don't know if it's
Migos tune.
Biggie's Niggas Bleed or if it's like a Drake tune, but it reminds me of something. That particular bit in that song, I just can't put my finger on it. But yeah,
I mean, listen,
Hey, man.
very, very mixed in this room then. Very much.
clearly.
Yeah. I'm never going back to it in my life.
Fair enough. Well, shout out to the Migos. I mean, obviously they're going to keep doing their thing. They're the kings of trap. They're the kings of, pretty much the game.
Yeah, they're solidified.
They're very solidified.
They're legends.
They're going to keep doing what they're doing. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They're very, like it or not, they're very important. Like,
and I can do these non-conventional reviews every now and again, man. So if you man like have other trap albums, you man want to like propose, I'm open.
So this will be a new segment. Peter tries trap.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
I'm
this
down.
can work.
I'm
Yeah,
down because
this
this
can
wasn't
work.
like an awful listen. I was expecting it to be just a complete waste of my time, honestly. But it wasn't like it was alright. Like I found myself like bobbing. Do you know what I mean? I was like, all right, cool.
Well, audience, you heard
You know
it
how
first.
I gauged it was a bad album. I had to keep going to it. Like I'll listen to 3 songs and I'll need a pause, and then listen to something else, and then come back to it, and I'll need a break.
See, you're just punishing yourself.
If I
Why don't you
sat
go
through
through the
that
whole
for
thing?
an hour and 15 minutes, I would have had a problem.
Do you know how I know when I don't really like an album or I want to like it? Is when I listen to it and I keep going back into it to find good songs.
Just to be like, we're forcing something here.
That's what I did with Her's album. I listened to it over and over again. I was like, nah, I must have missed something. There has to be more here. But nah.
Oh, so you don't gauge it after first listen,
Yeah, but no.
depending on the artist.
Yeah, but no, not really. I take a bit of time just to. I hear different things at different moments, innit? I might be busy when I'm doing my first listen. I might, you know what I mean, active listening versus like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, and some songs you enjoyed the first listen, you might not enjoy the second listen. Like there's a few songs on this album that on first listen I liked, but on second listen on the way here, didn't like as much. Like,
Yeah.
I like the hook on Roadrunner, but I don't really like the song.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But
I like some of their flows as well, though.
they're flowing, man.
Yeah, like it's a continuous type of like, do you know what I mean? Like a continuous barring. I kind of like that, even though it's not like very skilled, but I still enjoyed the style in which they're putting the bars together. If that makes sense.
And that's what I appreciate most about it, because they are doing that so well. I feel like flow-wise, they construct their bars very well, I'd say.
For as well as they can.
I mean,
couldn't help
it doesn't always have to
you
be an
couldn't help it.
asterisk.
No,
everything.
but sometimes it does, because if you're like, oh, he puts his bars together as well. What the fuck does Royce the 5'9" do?
Puts his bars.
Puts the bars together well.
Nah.
We're not comparing the two.
Can't.
We can't
I'm
compare
not.
the two.
I can't.
We
do
can't
that.
compare
Royce,
Old heads getting so defensive,
can't.
bro.
Royce, if you're
But
listening,
no, about to
I
say,
ain't doing that.
What I'm about to say, these two put their bars together. So only one person could do it well. The other person could just put bars together, and that's what Migos do. They put bars together. I want to say they do it well.
Do you know what's so funny about this? Like, Yemi was the one getting trashed on Twitter. It should be us.
The hip hop snobs strike again.
No, but he's got a point. These not put bars together. There's a difference when you say well.
For how they do it well.
Eh.
So what does Jay Electronica do?
He puts his bars together well for how he does it.
Yeah, but what about that? It's not the same.
I'm
well.
being dumb. I'm being dumb. I feel Yemi. I'm being dumb, innit?
You've been annoying, fam. It's so annoying, bro.
But with that being said,
I'm never going to compare Migos to Royce and Jay Electronica. Why are you making me do that?
so wait, out of 10, what we each give an album?
7.
I give it 4 or 5.
Give it a 3 or 4.
Before you gave it a -5.
Yeah, I was trying to be respectful. Outside, I definitely gave it -5.
That's disrespectful.
Keep that energy, bro.
Oh, you're right. This, what 0 is never going back to it, so it's a 0. I guess, innit? I'm never going back to this album in my life.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. So this one is a doozy and one we've been waiting to do for a very long time. So with all the talk recently online about who have been some of the more influential rappers of a certain era, I think it was Rap Caviar that put up a graphic of Kendrick, Drake, Cole, and a question mark over another slab of the Mount Rushmore to say who's been the most influential of, I think it was the 2010s.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of arguments about who it was. It eventually turned out to be, it was decided that it would be Nicki Minaj. But it got us thinking, who have been some of the more influential 4 rappers a la Mount Rushmore over the eras of hip hop. So what we've done is we've basically taken a model that's provided to us by Punch of TDE, where he basically ranked each Mount Rushmore over the eras. And by eras, we're talking about a 4-year period. And we're basically going to take that model and discuss who the Mount Rushmores were in the US for those respective eras. And for the UK, as it's not as vast as the US, we're going to break it down to who are the 4 most influential of the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the present. So we're going to start off with the US, and we are going to start off with the era between 1986 and 1990. Now, before we get into that, because I'm a neek, I did the era before that, which was 1982 to 1986. Back when it was all
82.
clap your hands, everybody.
Down there playing basketball.
And sucker MCs.
People used to get so mad when you called him a sucker MC. That was like a suck him up back then, you know that?
Yeah.
You a sucker MC. And they'll throw their hand down like this.
Yes. Sucker MC was like bitch now.
Yeah.
Bitch ass.
Oh, that is funny.
So since I'm the only person that did that, I'm just gonna shout out the people that I put on there. So I put Grandmaster Kaz, I put Melly Mel. Please refrain from laughing, guys. I got Curtis Blow, and I got Cool Mo D.
See, I had an honorable mentions list, but I didn't do it like your format.
Who did you have?
So before we go into the period of 86 to 90, my honorable mentions were Melly Mel, Grandmaster Kaz, Curtis Blow, Cool Mo D, Run DMC, and Roxanne Shante.
Run DMC is a good one.
Run DMC is a great shout.
Yeah, I mean, because I know that like before the Rakims and them man came through, their man had influence as well, innit?
100%.
I mean? You're not number one. You're not even the best. Can't win no MC contest.
You said that in episode 2.
He did.
And he remembers that. Look at this guy. But yeah, shout out to those guys. Roxanne Shante is a good shout. Well.
One day we got to get into like the style of like rapping and how rap has like evolved, bro. Because like if you just look at like how them man used to put their bars together back in them days, it's actually it's interesting, man. I'm not going to say funny because that's disrespectful, but it's interesting.
And we've come a long way.
We really have.
We'll put it that way. So moving on to the era between 1986 and 1990, it was unanimously agreed between us that we were going to go for Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, and KRS-One, with a special shout out to Slick Rick and Chuck D. And that era was really when hip hop came into its own.
Yeah, they call it the golden era.
The golden era for sure, you know, when not even just these rappers, but, you know, a whole slew of like Cool G Rap as well, and a bunch of other people that just came through that kind of became the revolutionary artists that hip hop then started to breed on a regular basis. So, you know, enough respect to Rakim. Obviously, he's the godfather of everything.
The GOAT.
Big Daddy Kane, lyrical master, but also could grab gal. LL Cool J, the young upstart that started young.
I'm bad.
They call me Big. No, I'm never doing it.
They call me Big LA.
Big. No, this guy said Big Willie. What is going on?
Someone has called him Big LA though.
Oh man.
Hey man, actually,
you know what I mean? LL Cool J, the young upstart, KRS-One, the teacher, who, you know, when he first came out, he was on that crud, but then, you know, circumstances shifted his focus to being more of the teacher. So yeah, man, Slick Rick, obviously.
Slick Rick the ruler.
Slick Rick the ruler, London born and raised, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Chuck D, most important political rapper that's ever lived as well. So shout out to those guys, man. Now we're going to move on to the era of 1990 to 1994. And I think this is where our opinions start differing a bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with Mo. Who do you have for 1990 to 1990?
So I had Snoop, Cube, Scarface, and then the fourth is a sticking point. Because I've started to think, can we add groups to a Mount Rushmore?
I mean, no.
I did.
In that case, then I didn't.
Actually, did.
Well, you absolutely can't.
Can you not add groups to...
Bro, have you seen Mount Rushmore?
I know it's 4 face, but that's because we're talking presidency. But
Exactly. So how are you going to fit a group on the fourth face?
What you just put a sign in it, the symbol?
Nah, man.
Well, I said Wu-Tang.
Nah, we got to be logistical here, bro.
I said Wu-Tang.
You said Wu-Tang?
If he says tribe, I'm saying Wu.
For that era?
Yeah. When did Enter the Wu come out? 93?
93.
Yeah.
The 90 to 94, I can say them.
You can definitely add groups, man.
So then I'm saying...
Forget what Mo Peter
forget
said.
this guy. Then in that case, I've gone with Wu. Just because the first album came out, arguably the greatest group of all time. You kind of have to have at least one of their faces there, I think. What Riz has done, Meth has done, everything they've gone on to do as well. Ghost is arguably the greatest of all time. I think you kind of have to have something that establishes them. You can't have all of them rappers and say they didn't at least... They can't have one of the 4 years. Do you get what I mean of the eras?
Yeah, because I feel
it's
like...
hard to leave Wu out of it.
Exactly, because I feel like for some of these years, it's very hard to distinguish that fourth single rapper that was, you know, influential and important. Yeah. Whereas around that time, groups were becoming even more important. So I think it might be a bit of a disservice to just not acknowledge them in a certain way. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
well, according to Pete, you can only have faces, but but yeah, that's who I've gone with. I think Snoop, we already know what I've done. Cube already know. Scarface, arguably the greatest voice of all time. But yes, I've gone with Wu-Tang for the fourth.
All right, cool.
I just thought Enter the Wu, everything with it. That's who I've gone with.
Hear that, Pete?
For this period, I've got Ice Cube, I've got Q-Tip, Snoop Dogg, and Scarface. Based on the music that I've listened to, based on articles that I've read, documentaries, uncles that I've spoken to, these four were probably like the best rappers of that time. Cube had America's Most Wanted when he just left NWA, and that sent massive waves through hip hop at that time. He had Death Certificate as well, and then you got Q-Tip, who flipping pretty much, I'm not gonna say single-handedly, but was very important for Tribe dropping those first 3 albums, man. Instinctive Travels, Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, and then you got Snoop, Doggy Style, which says it all, and he contributed to Dr. Dre's The Chronic as well in '92, so add that in there. Then you got Scarface, he drops Mr. Scarface is Back in '91, The World Is Yours in '93, and The Diary, which might have been one of the first 5 mic albums in '94, if I'm not mistaken.
That can't be true.
It might have been
Was it
one
really?
of. It might have been one of. I don't know if it was.
You got 5 mic.
Yeah, it was one of the first.
I mean, they've been doing 5 mics since the 80s.
Are you sure?
I feel like they have.
I don't think so, bro.
No, I bet 5 mics was the 90s one, isn't it?
I don't think it was since the age. No, I might be wrong though.
And then Benzino gave himself a 5 mic album.
Did he?
Yeah,
That's criminal.
he actually gave himself. You remember Pete?
Yeah,
He gave himself a 5 mic album. The criminal.
disrespectful.
Yeah, they gave Instinctive Travels.
What in
5 mic.
retrospect, or did they give it to him at the time though?
Good question. Maybe by the I think some of these were in real time.
Okay.
Because even
Okay.
Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted, is a 5 mic.
There's a 5 mic as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
fine.
it started in 1990 actually.
See,
Okay,
Benzino
That's
there.
what it seems like. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I still stand by that. So yeah, those are my 4.
All right, for me, similar to Pete's, I've got Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Tribe Called Quest, because obviously Q-Tip's in it, and Scarface. Ice Cube at that time was arguably the most important rapper in the game, for his 3 albums, for what he did with NWA, coming off the strength of that. Changed a lot, as far as being that angry, political, violent, just mixture of a rapper who pretty much could do it all, and his pen was nice, and we all knew that. Obviously, Snoop came through.
Sorry, yeah. Was Ice Cube like the first rap star as we know it to leave a big group and still pop?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
he was indeed.
It was early 90s, so it had to be, innit?
Yeah.
It had to be.
Yeah, he definitely was. And then Snoop Dogg. I mean,
Doggy Style.
Doggy Style. The most promising guy in hip hop up to that point, I'd say, because he just promised so much. Obviously, he's worked with Dr. Dre and dropping Doggy Style, and Doggy Style being
Classic.
the biggest album of the time. You know what I mean? I think it was the first rap album to debut at number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
And how old was Snoop at that point? He was young,
Oh,
innit?
he was young. Yeah.
Like
It was
18?
like
Early 20s, maybe.
early 20s.
Yeah.
He was young.
Very, very young. And he'd already, obviously with the backing of Dr. Dre and that, but it was an amazing performance.
And this wasn't Dr. Dre as we know it.
Of course.
Now, what we know Dre to be now, he don't really produce these tunes, and he hasn't for the last 10 years, 15 years.
Where are you taking it?
But this was like
That was shade.
Yeah, but this
That was hella shit.
yeah, but this was like Dr. Dre
Touching the keyboard.
This
and
was
everything.
fat Dr. Dre, where he was like, you know what I mean,
He
really
was there, innit? Yeah.
Even when
he was really in the trenches, you know what I mean, with the
Producing.
production and that. Do you know what I mean? So this was like Dre.
These are hella shots, by the way.
hella shots,
Hella
bro.
shots.
Fat.
I'm a truth teller.
Is that what you call it?
That's all, man.
Hey, man.
Shut up.
Tell the truth and shame the devil always.
Amen.
Truth teller. But anyway, yes. And then A Tribe Called Quest. Man, I think obviously they came as part of the Native Tongues posse with De La Soul, and obviously De La Soul and the Jungle Brothers. And the Jungle Brothers made the first splash, and then De La Soul made it bigger, and then Tribe just blew it completely out of the water, man. Those first three albums, man, celebrated. Like a lot of careers were birthed by that stretch. Pharrell, Kanye.
Listen, my
Dilla.
family tree is coming soon, man.
Oh yeah, Pete's family tree.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
Yeah,
I'm
without-
doing the UK one and the US one, but it's coming soon.
there
That's
you
gonna be
go,
a great
man.
topic. That's gonna be great.
Without Tribe, we don't get a lot of the people that we consider legends today. So, you got to put them in there. And Scarface, yeah, man, he was doing his thing as well. Obviously, the album Run, he was in the Ghetto Boys as well. So, not only did he have success with the Ghetto Boys, he also branched out and became a solo success as well. So, as far as like rapping ability and importance, and as far as putting that part of the world on, as far as like Houston and Texas and all that, he was very, very important. So shout out to Scarface and shout out to all those guys. We now move on to.
So you two had the same kind anyway. You two had the same list.
Basically, yeah. Basically, but we can't put groups on there. But yeah, moving on to 1994 to 1998. Gonna start off with you, Peter. Who you got?
This was a bit of a tricky one for me.
Yeah.
Was it?
I'm not gonna lie. For this one, I consulted with my uncle Henry. Just because he like was there live, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like he kind of like saw it. So there was like I knew like the bulk of it, but there was a couple names that I was flirting with. So obviously you had Pac. I got Tupac in there. He was like the hottest rapper like within that time. He had like obviously the whole he had controversy as well, which you know add to the light.
To the thing.
You know what I mean, films and that. But he also dropped Me Against the World in 95 and then All Eyes on Me in 96.
Yes.
Which were just like the hottest things around, innit? Then you had Nas as well. Even though he dropped Illmatic in 93, I still feel like the vibrations
94.
of was it 94? Okay, that's cool then. That's great. But yeah, Nas is in there. He drops that in 94 and It Was Written as well, which were two amazing albums. And then you obviously had Big. You know what I mean? Life After Death, Ready to Die, within that time span as well. Now, for the third spot, I was kind of flirting between Prodigy, Raekwon, and Jay. Purely because when Jay, back in them days, I don't think Jay was rated like that. Jay wasn't what we think he was back then.
Reasonable Doubt?
Yeah, Reasonable Doubt wasn't really rated like that. That came later. And I think he actually started that narrative. Do you know what I mean? Of it being better than it actually was. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was a bit hesitant to put him there. So I was flirting with putting in Prodigy or Raekwon. Purely because Prodigy at that time, for me, just based on what I was hearing, was like one of the best rappers around in the 90s for me. And then the two albums, the first two, the second and the third album that Mobb Deep dropped were just like completely flawless, innit? And like I feel like their sound was just so important for what we would know like grimy New York hip hop to be. So it was kind of difficult for me to ignore Prodigy. And then obviously with Raekwon, you had like, you know, Cuban links and then also like, you know, what we were doing. So I was kind of flirting with those two. And then I spoke to my uncle and he was like, yeah, nah, like it's got to be Jay. Like regardless of whether Reasonable Doubt was, people caught onto it late, like he was still like
Jay.
new hot rapper. He was still like nice rapper. People were still kind of like, yo, this guy's sick.
He also dropped Volume 1 and Volume 2 in that era as well.
Yeah, there's that as well. But like, I'm also talking about 96 and 97, not so much 98. But yeah, so I decided, you know, I'm going to put Jay in there because the co-sign from Big would have been quite important as well and would have kind of brought some light onto him as well. And I think if we're talking lyrically, if we just going back, then he probably was like, you know, one of the best rappers around at that time. So I'll put him in that fourth spot. So yeah, those are my four.
That's my four as well.
Yeah.
I think I didn't hesitate with Jay. Even if Reasonable Doubt at the time wasn't what it now is. The fact that he was so in these streets, like everybody knew him in New York anyway. Everybody kind of wanted him to win as well. So when it came out, you know, people were invested in seeing him win and be successful. And then he just built upon that with Volume 1 and Volume 2. And
but bro, that came later though, man. Like I think we have it twisted because we a lot of us, our generation became Jay fans way after the fact. But if we talk to people that were actually like watching it live, they weren't looking at Jay like that. And I've listened to interviews of fellow rappers that were kind of around at the same time, and a lot of them would say the same thing. Like Jay weren't looked at as though like just the sick guy. Like
It came later on.
that came way later. That probably came like after Big died. Big died in 97. So that came like just before he dropped Hard Knock Life Volume 2. That's when people kind of were like, all right, cool. He was always nice, but he weren't looked at as, oh, I want this guy to win and that. Nah, I think we have it misconstrued.
But if you listen to the Breaking Out series, you'll see that the people around him wanted him to win. I'm not talking about other rappers. I'm just talking about the scene around him. As far as like radio hosts, A&Rs, you know, promoters, the street team. Everybody wanted him to win in that respect. And of course, we're dealing with 94 and 98. Even if he wasn't seen as that guy in 96 and 97, he became that guy in 98 anyway with Hard Knock Life. By that point, he was undeniable. So for that alone,
But is that 1 year enough though? for him to be on that. And that's why I was struggling with it, because Prodigy and Raekwon, they arguably did a bit more within that time frame.
But I would say that he's nice. He's nicer than both of them.
But that's not enough though. You said
But he
influence.
had the albums
You
as
said
well.
influence.
The
You might say influence.
prominence as well. Like, where were they at that time? How big were they at that time?
Fair enough, but
I've got Jay in my thing. I've got the same list as you lot, though.
What's your list? You got the same list?
The exact same list as you two.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I don't know if that 1 year is enough. That's why I was hesitating. I put him in there, but I was a bit shaky about it.
I don't think it's just the 1 year though. Because even if he wasn't getting respect from the other rappers, it was quite clear that his buzz was growing and he was becoming more influential.
And the music he dropped.
And he dropped 3 albums
that's
in
what
that.
we're saying.
See,
but the albums he dropped Reasonable Doubt, and he dropped Volume 1 and Volume 2.
the influence came later though. Yems just said that clearly his influence was growing in that moment, and I don't believe that's the case.
I think it is the case.
I don't see how, because I can't see how, if at that time Reasonable Doubt it was like a good album, but people weren't really fucking with it like that, and then he dropped Volume 1, which he himself hated.
Yeah.
I don't see how in that moment there could have been any sort of influence if you're not getting the accolades. And
what did Reasonable Doubt go and do?
it just became very influential. But it only became influential after he said Reasonable Doubt classic should have went triple. That's when people kind of like,
hang on a minute,
hey, maybe, yeah, because before that nobody was attaching the word classic to Reasonable Doubt. He started pushing that narrative.
So what was Prodigy and Raekwon doing at that time that means they're more influential?
Bruv, Mobb Deep dropped Hell on Earth and fucking The Infamous.
Okay. And then Raekwon dropped Cuban Links, right?
Yeah.
He's never been as relevant since. So he's dropped 1 album.
We're talking about in that time though.
We're talking about at the time.
Yeah, in that time, cool. But at the same time, just because he was influential in that 1 year, it's not like he was influential throughout that whole period.
He was a part of Wu, and Wu were making a lot of noise within that period.
Cool, but
because Mo said that Wu were one of the greatest groups ever.
Cool, but you haven't chosen Wu. You chose Raekwon. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking that as it's what Raekwon was doing, not what Wu were doing.
You're just taking Raekwon.
But he's a part of Wu, bro.
But you picked
if you would
Raekwon
have picked
singular.
Wu,
You can't take the group into it. You've taken.
Of course you can.
You've picked him singular, bro.
Bruv. Okay, fine, but obviously not just his solo shit. There are other shit that come into that as well. With Q-Tip, I've chosen Q-Tip because of the group albums.
Yeah.
Not because of his solo shit.
But would you have picked Tribe if you could? If you thought you could? Or would you have still stuck with Q-Tip?
Because I know Q-Tip's the face of it and he did the bulk of everything.
You still would have picked Q.
I was always going to pick Q-Tip.
But Raekwon's not...
It's similar to a year period that we're going to come onto later as well. Because I've chosen someone who's a part of a group and not the other person.
Or...
Do you know what I mean? So we'll get to that too. But the point I'm trying to make is...
You could pick Raekwon based on what he done with...
Yeah, and I just feel like maybe in the 90s, Prodigy and Ray had a bit more sting to him and buzz to him than Jay. Maybe.
I don't necessarily think the buzz matters as much. Because if Jay is as busy in that era, if not more than those guys, then even if he's not getting the same buzz or respect, the fact that he's growing in stature in real time, he's dropping Reasonable Doubt, he's dropping Volume 1, Volume 2, and maybe if by Volume 2 that's when it starts to like happen for him, he's still very, very active and he's still very much like in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Lyrically, he's better than both of them too. So I think there's more on Jay's side than there is the other two side, in my opinion.
All right, I feel you.
Fair dues.
You want to take over the next one?
I will. So we are now doing 1998 to 2002. I'll go first. I doubled on Jay, because obviously he came into his own at that point. Eminem, again, he appeared, made an appearance, and just dominated everything in that time period. DMX, again, another one that came through in that time period and dominated to a very big degree. And I've also got Ja Rule, for similar reasons, basically. Like 98 to 02, I feel like, especially 98 was like a very transformative time for rap. Obviously, we're coming off Biggie and Pac dying and that, and you know the next generation of talent coming through, and obviously some people came through in a previous era, coming to their own a little bit. So yeah, very important era. I also want to shout out Nelly as well, because I had to put him in there.
Nelly's an awkward, just going off what you said. Nelly's an awkward one. I didn't know whether to put Nelly in the 98 or the 02 one.
He is an awkward one.
He's an awkward one because I was looking at Nelly. I was gonna put Nelly 98 to 02, but then he dropped Dilemma Hot in here in 03. So it's like 02, 03. So I'm like, can't put him in the 98 one. So I had to leave him off. So I done the same thing you done. I doubled down on Jay-Z. So I doubled down on Jay. I went with DMX because I think he had 2 albums that went number 1 in the same year. I think was it 98 he done
in 98.
That's Mount Rushmore by itself. I don't think anyone's done that since as well. 2 albums in 1 year, both got number 1.
I think Future did, but he was the first.
Yeah, put DMX. I said Eminem. I put in there. Ja Rule. He's gonna go there regardless. One of them years he's gonna fit in, and then he started to tail off 02, 03. So if he's gonna fit in anyway, it will be in the 98 to 02 bracket where he had a bigger push on his sex when he had Holla Holla, his first song in 98, and then he went on from there. The cover. Remember what magazine was it with him, DMX and Jay?
Double XL.
Double XL. That already shows you where they were at that point as well. When you've got them three, that kind of tells you they thought they were the Mount Rushmore at that point anyway in rap for them to be the 3 faces. So once you've got them 3, it's the 4th one. And as much as you want to hate on Eminem, if you do, I don't think you can deny that he has to be in that box. So if Peter don't have him in,
people will hate still.
Yeah, but you cannot have Eminem when we're dropping all of them. What do you drop in? What do you have? Marshall Mathers LP, Slim Shady
LP, Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show.
That was all between 98 and 02. Let's see what Peter goes with this.
See, why you got to say my name like I'm gonna like ignore the fact? The facts are the facts, innit?
To you,
the facts got nothing to do with feelings, innit?
Oh, let's go.
Facts are the facts, and I've got Eminem in there. It's undeniable. Yo, I loved Eminem between this period.
I hold my hands up.
Lyrically, like, fam, that guy was like, oh my god. But yeah, so I got M in there. I got J in there. I got DMX in there, and I've got Andre 3000 in there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I thought about Ja Rule, but for me, his hotness wasn't enough to put him there, man.
When did
he was extremely hot between that time, and he had a lot of hit songs, but there was no complete bodies of work. Andre was coming, and this is disrespectful to Big Boy, innit? But Andre was coming off the back of a Aquemini in 98, and then Stankonia in 2000.
But is he coming off the back of that as Big Boy? Can you just have Andre 3 by himself?
I'm being disrespectful. I know I am.
Fully disrespectful.
But because of how I receive the albums and I guess just how I take in both rappers, it's disrespectful, but I put more on Andre in it. And I know it's disrespectful, but I've got him there in it just because I feel like
very disrespectful.
It is.
Is that revisionist though?
Very disrespectful.
You think at the time they were looked at as Mount Rushmore? So. At the time, I don't think Andre was. When did Andre have that speech where the South's got something to say?
That was 94.
Okay, that was way later. But my point being, at 98 to 02 was.
But I'm talking about just based on who were like the best rappers and influential at the time, and based on
at the time,
but based on
Andre bigger than Ja.
Not in the commercial, no, of course not. But based on what them man went on to do with Aquemini and Stankonia,
and the skill level,
the influence is like way greater than what Ja did.
Oh, you're right.
So based on that, I've got to put him in there. I should really put Outkast. Scratch that. I'm gonna put Outkast. Let me not be disrespectful. I'm gonna put Outkast in there. I'm going against the whole group thing, but yeah, I'm gonna put Outkast. But yeah, for me, that Aquemini and that Stankonia is enough for me, man, because like the influence off that, like, yeah, man, it's undeniable. I thought about Ja Rule though, for sure.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I'll probably give Outkast an honorary shout out as well.
Yeah,
just for the body of work and them coming to their own, especially Aquemini as well and Stankonia and
because Stankonia was probably like the highest point commercially, right? Miss Jackson, you know what I mean? So fresh and so clean, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was undeniable. And I think I was thinking about Miss Jackson, which is why I maybe put more on Andre, because I think people remember his part more than Big Boy's, isn't it? And I think even on Aquemini, not to say that Big Boy didn't get busy, because he most certainly did, but I don't know, for me, the high moments came with Andre for me. Maybe that's why, but I'll stick Outkast in there.
Love you, Big Boy. Love you. Never sleep on Big Boy.
I know Rich is going to get onto me after this, man.
Listen.
Because he's like a major Outkast guy. Andre 3000's his guy. I'll receive a text, I'm sure.
For leaving Big Boy out of it.
Yeah.
As you should.
That was disrespectful.
Well, I've rectified it now.
Hey, man.
All right, so we're moving on now to 2002 to 2006. Mohammed, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I've got, so this way kind of, I guess this is when we started really taking in music at this point now. 02 to 06, I think this is when we became, aware of what's going on. We always knew what was going on, but this is when we became aware. So this way it got fun for me. First person I've got off the bat is 50 Cent. Don't think that's arguable. Get Rich or Die Trying, Massacre. Don't think we can argue that. Second, I went with his Kanye. May arguably the most influential rapper that we've seen. He's up there anyway, top 5. Third person I went with is T.I. And the reason why I went with T.I. is because T.I. is the biggest influence that I've had from the South, ahead of Outkast. Like, T.I. is the first rapper I saw from the South. I was like, yo, I really fuck with him. Like, I always, don't get me wrong, I love Outkast, but there's just something rock different when I first heard T.I. I'm like, yo, when I heard Bring Him Out, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Do you get what I mean? I'm like, yeah. So I put T.I. on there for me. Yeah, I think he had, at that point, I think he dropped like 4 albums before 06 came out. So that's what I've got in there. Now, the fourth one is where it became tricky. Because I'll be honest with you, it was between Wayne and Nelly. And I didn't want to know, I didn't want to double down on Lil Wayne with both years. So I decided to go with Nelly because I looked at the track of and what came out and the number 1 albums he had at that point. And I think Nelly, in that era, outsold, I think, everyone but Jay-Z and Eminem. And the crux of that was between 02 and 06 when he had the Dilemmas, the number 1s, the Hot in His, the EIs, whatever, Flap Your Wings. So yeah, that's who I went with. That was my fault. So I went with, just to reaffirm it one more time, I went with Kanye, 50, T.I. and Nelly.
Fair dues. I'll go next.
Oh yeah, Jeezy was an honorable mention as well. Sorry.
For you. So I got 50 for the reasons that Mo said. Kanye, again, for the reasons that Mo said. The next 2 are very tricky, man. So I got Ludacris. Just for, and I was just looking up his discography around that time. The guy dropped Chicken and Beer, which, you know, at the time was like one of the biggest albums. Dropped in 03, I want to say. One of the biggest albums.
That was one of the first CDs I bought.
There you go. Stand Up, you know what I mean? Act a Fool, classic bops on there. And in 06, he released Therapy, which won him a Grammy as well. You know, maybe somewhat controversially, but even by 06 to where his run was kind of ending, he was still at his peak commercially and I guess creatively as well. And even though, you know, he came up around the previous era, obviously Word of Mouth and Back for the First Time, he really came into his own, I feel like, in the era after. So I had to put Luda in there. And then I'm going to put in, maybe begrudgingly, because I can't really think of anybody else, The Game. The documentary, he single-handedly basically brought the West Coast back. For that alone, I think he deserves, it's enough. I think it's enough because, like, for all intents and purposes, the West Coast had really nothing to say up until he came.
Yeah, it was quiet for a little while.
It was quiet for a while. And he came with one of the best debut albums in rap history, if I'm being very, very honest with you. In 05, and then obviously what was the next album?
Doctors
Advocate the year after. So
at LAX, I think it was.
Yeah. So yeah, man, got to give The Game his flowers for that alone. And obviously he's nice on the mic too. And I think this was before he started name dropping all the time. So you know that's a bonus. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I've got Kanye, 50, Wayne, and Game. I thought about T.I., but I don't think he was touching these 4.
I think he was moving. I think he's ahead of Wayne comfortably.
No, I don't think so.
Because Wayne, to me, Wayne became best rapper alive when Carter 3 came out. Carter 3 came out.
No.
That's when he started the moniker, bro. He didn't have the moniker in Carter 2.
Yes, he did.
In what song?
On the actual album.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
I don't remember off the song because I remember
best rapper alive.
I remember. Because I remember Fireman, but I think T.I. is comfortable.
No, it depends on what your experiences were with the 2. Do you know what I mean? I started getting onto Wayne quite early, like because of my boy, the Carter. So yeah, I started seeing shit heat up. So for me, I've gone with those 4. Kanye.
And you like Carter 2 over Carter 3, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I was listening to that today. But yeah. I mean, Kanye's Kanye. 50's. Like, that was such a fun time in rap, man. Like, 50's run, oh my God.
Is that the biggest dominance we've seen? Just by like...
That's the most fun that I've like experienced, man. Because like watching him beef with everyone and watching him drop a couple amazing albums and then the mixtapes.
Then Ingenious times.
Because 50 was like the one that really made me like listen to mixtapes. So I just really enjoyed that time, innit? So... I think him or Drake have probably got the most dominant runs I've seen.
No, I think he's the most... I think 50 was... When I say dominant, I mean, like... It's hard to explain, but 50's run was...
50 was when we really started looking at the numbers.
Yeah, and it was just a moment in time. This guy had a game. This guy had trainers.
Yeah, I bought his trainers too.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like
horrible trainers.
Horrible.
Yeah, horrible trainers.
But like, the aura around 50.
I wish I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, no, I did.
I've never seen that around a rapper. even Drake at his highest, what was going around at 50 at that point, I've never seen around
Yeah, it
a
was
rapper.
different. It was
Do you get what I mean? It's just
Yeah, it was very different.
yeah, the hype around him I've never seen, man. This guy dominated.
He did.
So,
He did.
Yeah.
Any other honorable mentions?
Missy,
No.
Missy's in my honorable mention.
Missy's a
Missy's in my
This is a
honorable
good shout.
mention.
Missy is a good shout.
So it was Missy, yeah, and I think I said someone earlier. I forgot who I said.
Feel you?
What about you? Yeah, I mean, any honorable mentions?
I'm gonna steal your one, Missy. Shout out. All right, bet. Let's move on to the next era then. 2006 to 2010. Pete, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I got T.I. I got Ye, Kanye, Rick Ross, and Wayne. T.I. he had the King album, which was everywhere. He had the T.I. versus T.I.P. album, which was really good. Paper Trail, which I think might have had one of his biggest songs to date with Rihanna.
Yeah,
And Swagger Like
and yeah,
Us.
Swagger Like Us
Swagger
as
Like
well.
Us as well.
And Whatever You Like, I think.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So T.I. was just like
Horrible
unbelievably
song.
hot.
You didn't like Whatever You Like?
Horrible song, but good album.
Yeah. And then Kanye dropped within this time period, he dropped like Graduation, 808s and Heartbreaks, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This guy produced Common's Finding Forever. Like he was just Kanye.
Listen to the 3 albums you just said he dropped.
Kanye's a cheat
That's a
code.
joke, bro.
He's a cheat code.
That's a joke.
In
Yeah,
that
he has
era.
ghostwriters, so technically he's a
Can we
cheat
stop
code.
that?
But
Can we
No,
stop?
No, but that's a joke.
No, Peter, stop.
No, he's definitely got
Why?
ghost.
Why do you always have to add caveats to everything?
because sometimes it's necessary.
No, it's not.
He's a villain. Leave him.
Anyway, carry on.
I mean, I'm just playing off my own words. I
What
said-
is-
I
Does
said
he,
he-
does he have a ghostwriter?
I said he was a cheat code, isn't it? So I mean,
I see what you done there.
you feel me?
Shut up.
But yeah, and then I got Rick Ross. He had Hustling out, which was Port of Miami, which is his first album, which was like quite popular around
It was
the time.
everywhere.
Yeah, Triller, Deeper Than Rap, Teflon Don,
Damn.
and then Wayne dropped Carter 3 in 08. So
That's it. It's
he
enough.
just,
That's enough.
He done out that whole period, innit? So yeah, those were like my 4 for that period.
I've got the exact same 4. Yeah, I mean, you're hard pressed to find 4 more dominant rappers in that era than those 4.
We got Full House.
Full House.
Full House.
Love to see it. Love to see
I love when we're all on the same page, lads.
it. Next era, 2010 to 2014. Mohammed, you want to go first?
I've got literally I've got the same one you mentioned earlier. I've got Cole Kendrick, Drake, Nicki, and I don't think you could go for anyone else, man.
No,
think it's-
same.
I think if you go other than Nicki, if you take Nicki out, I just think you're taking Nicki out for who Nicki is.
Yeah. Not just for what she represented as far as female rap, but the numbers and just the fact that she was holding it down for so long, and it started in this era. So you got to shout out Nicki, no matter how much of a detestable person she is. Which she
You
is.
see what I'm saying? Like, you can't help it.
This is my first caveat.
Hey.
This guy's got 1 million.
Whatever.
You're
That's
right.
fine.
No, you're right. We've all stuck on someone today.
There you go. All right, then. Cool. Moving swiftly on then to 2014 to 2018. This is where it might start getting a bit interesting. Pete, you want to go first?
Yeah, begrudgingly, yeah.
This when it really gets interesting. This when it really.
Yeah,
gets
this is what this is.
Oh, I can't wait to see 18 to
more,
present.
no, more so because I wasn't really paying. This is when I really stopped like paying attention to like the mainstream.
Really?
Yeah. So, but just for the sake of the conversation and just based on the people I had around me and what they listen to, what they like, and that was my my thermometer of knowing what was really popping.
So this is market research.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You asked 100 people.
No, but based
Like
on what
family
based on what you man were like fucking with around that time and whoever else that was
Yeah.
in my life.
Let's
You know
see
what I mean, I'm basing it on that. So I got Future, Young Thug, Travis Scott, and I got Drake.
Cool.
So that was my 4 for that period. I can't say too much other than their man was just extremely popular
Fair enough.
around the time. So and I can't think of 4 other rappers that were more popular.
Feel you. Mo?
Same. Take Drake out for the Migos, and I put Migos there instead. Which shows you, by the way,
Wait, you took Drake out for the Migos?
yeah, just because I didn't want to double up with Drake. We know what we get from Drake. That's the only reason why I just didn't want to. Doubling up with Drake is just at that point. Do you get what I mean? It's because you can't help it. So I just wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
And by the way, this shows you how stupid Atlanta's run is, just to put it in context.
Big facts.
Therefore, I've got Future, Atlanta, Young Thug, Atlanta. Travis is from the South. I think he's from
Houston.
Yeah, he's from Houston. And I've got Migos from Atlanta. That shows you the South run is stupid. To have from the 90s where you got 4 man in from New York or wherever to 4 man just from the South.
Yeah.
Hey, salute to them. But that's I've gone Future. Don't think the influence of Future, Young Thug, Travis, and Migos, where we still see it today. Whether an artist is from the UK or if they're from New York, they have their ilk in them. At least one of them.
I feel you. 100%.
What'd you go for?
I went for Future, Young Thug, Drake, and Migos.
You left Travis out.
Yeah, I did. But this leads into the next era
Oh, fair enough.
for me.
I'll jump.
I think Travis obviously was doing his thing in that era. I think he dropped Rodeo. But I think the next era was where he became
Travis.
not even necessarily Travis, because he was always Travis, but he became one of, if not the biggest star in rap in this present era.
I feel you.
And he still is one of them in this present era. But Future, can't deny it. Influential, Young Thug. I mean, we see it, innit? We see it today. Drake, obviously, his run was continuing, and Migos. But just Migoing, you know what I'm saying? So, Versace and all that stuff that came from this era. So, that's the reason why a lot of these rappers, UK and US, sound like that. So, shout out to them. We now move on to the present day, 2018 to the present.
You can take the wheel.
I'll take the wheel. So, obviously, I said Travis. I've got Cardi B, Lil Baby, and Pop Smoke. I think Cardi, very, very much, it speaks for itself, really. I think not necessarily resurgence, but she represented a new renaissance or a new wave of female or women rappers that not only rap or just present, but do what she does, what she raps about, how she presents herself and stuff. So she's very much, I feel like, an evolutionary artist in that respect. Obviously, we had Kim and Foxy and Nicki to a certain extent, but she's the present day version of them, man. So, got to put Cardi there. Lil Baby, I just feel like he's one of the hottest rappers about right now. Very consistent, very hardworking. He's got bops. He's not afraid to test himself with, seasoned rappers and, people like Future, Young Thug, who, are his fathers. So yeah, shout out to him. And Pop Smoke, I just feel like Pop Smoke, US drill doesn't start popping without him.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Like Dior, Welcome to the Party was literally everywhere in 2018, in 2019, and even in his death, like he's still very influential, man. Like for here, for over there, like yeah, man. I think he represents another evolution of hip hop generally. Without Pop Smoke, you don't get, Fabio Fora, and you don't get, the prominence of 808 Mello, who's a UK producer here, pioneering drill beats and stuff like that. So he's very, very important. So gotta give it to him. But yeah, that's me.
Pete? Can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, no, I've got similar to what Yemi's just said, man. I've got Cardi B, Little Baby, The Baby, and Pop Smoke.
Fair dues.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Want to get into it or no?
Nah.
Yeah, I know. Because I can't. So I went for a little bit different to you guys. So I went with Little Baby, I went with Little Dirk, I went with Reddy Rich, and I went with Cardi. But I also went honorable mention to NBA Youngboy. Because the wave he's got is ridiculous, but I never knew he was.
He's putting numbers on the board.
Yeah, his numbers is ridiculous. He's most probably got more numbers than the rest of them. But I went with Little Baby because don't think it's hard to say an artist hasn't missed, but in terms of big songs, Little Baby's just impressed me. I haven't heard a verse where I've gone, that's not it from Little Baby in a while. Dirk, you guys know how I feel about Dirk. Dirk is my favorite, up there, my favorite new artist. Roddy Ricch speaks for himself. I think Roddy Ricch is the glue between everyone whenever he jumps on a song, whether he wants to do the melodic thing or whether he wants to rap. He's comfortable both sides. And then I've got Cardi, you guys explained why. And then I put honorable mention, NBA Youngboy and Polo G actually as well.
Fair. I mean, I feel like these days it's more so on the popularity than influence, because
they all sound similar.
They all sound similar, but also it's kind of hard in this present day for new artists to influence the culture like their predecessors. So for that alone, it's kind of more so of a popularity thing. But, they're all doing their thing, so shout out to them. All right, then, in that case, we will now move on to the UK. Now, as I said previously, as the UK scene isn't as vast for certain times, we're just going to round up the 4 most influential rappers for the decade of the 90s, the decade of the 2000s, the decade of the 2010s, and the present day. So for the 90s, yeah, man, UK hip-hop in the 90s was, it was a difficult one. It was a difficult one.
It was techie, man.
To the point where I couldn't even think of 4. I only thought of 3. So the 3 I'm going for are Rodney P, Black Twang, and Roots Maneuver. I found out Roots Maneuver actually got his start in the 90s. So I think his first album was in the 90s. So, I'll give that to him. Black Twang had been about as well. And Rodney P obviously comes from London Posse, active since the 80s. yeah, man, influential in their own ways. Paved the way for a lot of what we see as far as UK hip hop generally these days. Anyway, I also want to shout out the Demon Boys from Mo's Ends of Tottenham, Task Force. They were doing their bits. I think they had a sister group that had Skinny Man in it, but Skinny Man wasn't a full member. And I also want to say Tricky. Even though Tricky wasn't a hip hop artist, he was more of a trip hop guy from Bristol and that. As far as like rapping, he did bits for the UK in that era. But that's me. Pete?
Yeah, man, pretty much similar, man. I've got a Rodney P. I think he might have been one of the first UK rappers to rap with a UK London accent.
Very important.
So I definitely set the tone for what came later. But yeah, I've got Black Twang as well, Roots Maneuver. And I chose Chester P because I don't know, he might have been one of the first white UK rappers to come out, and I think he was very prominent as far as like that underground, that sound within the UK in the 90s at that time as well. So I've chosen him because I think he probably was like the best rapper, the best white rapper anyway.
Also part of Task Force.
Yeah, also part of Task Force. So yeah, I feel like that sound definitely ushered in what would later become and what would I guess help UK rappers be quite comfortable in making a certain type of hip hop as well. So yeah, I've chosen him. And then honourable mentions were Skinny Man, Jest, and Kalashnikov.
Hear that? Wait, was Kalashnikov active in the 90s?
I think late 90s.
Oh, fair enough.
Fair dues. Cool. In that case, then, this is where it starts to get interesting. We will now move on to the 2000s. Now, Mohammed.
Yep.
Would you like to go first?
I could crack on with this. So first, going to kick it off with Skepta. No surprise there. Let's be honest. I think you can't doubt the influence Skepta had in the 2000s. Whether it was us like rushing home to see a freestyle, whether it's us listening to the mixtapes, Skepta's name solidified. I've got Wiley there, just a godfather of it all. You can't have wherever he is or he does, you can't have a Mount Rushmore without Wiley to me. And in this way, you got Techie. I've gone with Kano just because of the influence he had on me, whether it was the Lord of the Mics, whether it was the albums, whether it was a mix, whatever. The bars, he just had me. And then the fourth one is where he got Techie, but I've gone with D Double. So I went with D Double on my Mount Rushmore to end it off with in the 2000s. So that's my list, guys.
All right, cool. I'll go. I'll go So Solid, just because I feel like you don't have.
I thought you said you weren't doing groups.
I did say that, didn't I?
Look at him.
Oh well.
So Solid.
Yeah, I got So Solid. That street element that they brought to the game was just, it was just very, very, very important, man. And without them, I don't think even the way UK rappers are today, man, I just don't think
it don't
stand a chance, man. I got Dizzy, because you just can't get away from the influence of Boy in the Corner. It's just impossible. Regardless of how you feel about the consistency after Boy in the Corner and Showtime, like, regardless, what he done up until that point was enough. I've got Kano because he's the greatest of all time to me, and that period was probably his like big early 2000s, probably like his prime for me anyway. So I got him there, and then I got Wiley. He created like a lot of the shit from grime that would come later as well. So for me, you just can't have Wiley not.
He's the godfather.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me.
I hear that. So for me, I got Wiley for the reasons you got stated. Dizzy, again, for the reasons that Pete stated. D Double, because without D Double, like, you know, he's the prototype for the kind of animation / you know, the memorable one-liners and bars that we just remember grime for, especially.
I was never on D Double like that, man.
You was never a fan of the ooh-wah. You was never a fan.
Not really, man. It just wasn't really for me.
It just wasn't for you.
As far as sounds and that, it was like Flirter D and that. It weren't really D Double for me.
Flirter D?
I mean, Flirter D probably doesn't do that without D Double.
Fair enough.
Probably, maybe.
I ain't heard Flirter D's name in years, bro. I wonder how he is.
I don't know, bro. Ask him. He's from Tottenham, right?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. You can ask him probably. And my fourth one, I literally just had a change of heart. I was going to go for Kano, but I thought there's probably someone who's been more important to the scene as a whole in that time. Giggs. Without Giggs, road rap doesn't evolve and become the sound of the streets. he literally had similar to, not similar, but kind of in a way that 50 Cent just came and bum rushed the whole scene in the US. I think Giggs did a similar thing in the UK, man. Like late 2000s, like 07, 08, 09, you could not escape it, man. Whether you're going to school, on the bus, you're seeing people playing, you know, Hard Bodied or, you know, the Blake Brown, you know, collab or whatever, like stuff like that. So I just feel like he had a grip on the streets, but a lot of rappers in the UK anyway have never seen. So
I agree with all of that, but I put him in the 2010s because I think it was on the back of, I think late 2009 was where he started to really, the influence would have been felt in the years that would follow.
Because he was back.
So I put him in the 2010s because I feel like he dropped, Talking the Hardest was 2009, Walk in the Park was 08. So that's why I put him in the 2010s, because I feel like the influence of that came in the 2010s.
Felt that late in the
but Walk in the Park's impact, I feel like, was immediately felt. And obviously Talking the Hardest as well, because Talking the Hardest is like, obviously it's grown in stature now, but even then.
Oh, bruv, Talking the Hardest is the biggest song we've ever had, man.
Even then, man. So that's why I kind of put him in the tail end of the 2000s rather than the 2010s. Because by the 2010s, yeah, sure, his influence was growing, but I feel like that immediate impression he made on people was in the 2000s. So
but all the road rappers for me were coming out from 2009 onwards, and you don't have that without Giggs. Even regardless of how.
What year were they coming out?
Like 2009, 2010, and so on and so forth. So regardless of what Giggs went on to do past that point, like his influence was already felt because every rapper that came out that was doing roads sounded like him.
Yeah, by 2000s though, innit? By the end of 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. So but that's why I put him in the 2010s.
No, but if his impact is felt in the 2000s.
Yeah, but it was late 2000s though.
Still 2000s.
Yeah, but it's late.
It's still enough.
It's still 2000s, bro.
It's still enough.
Right.
For me, it's not enough. For me, it's not enough.
I mean, I don't have it.
Not for me. Like, if you drop an album 2009, 2008, and your influence that you felt until 2010, I'm not going to put you...
You just said that road rappers are coming out in 09 sounding like Giggs, right? So I'm...
09, 2010, 2011 onwards. Like, but for me, it wasn't until after that point that his influence was really felt. So for me...
Well, I'm just thinking his influence on the roads, not necessarily his influence on other rappers. Because, like I said, you couldn't escape, especially like growing up in Peckham, going to school in Peckham, you couldn't escape it.
What's your 2010 list?
So my 2010 list was Wretch. I've got Gets.
Don't do that face, bro.
I got Wretch, I got Gets, I got Giggs, and I got Skepta. Those are my 2010s. And Wretch, for me, man, I feel like his penmanship it definitely influenced how like people wanted to start putting their bars together for me anyway. He had tracks within that time as well, so he started to receive a commercial type of success that helped open more doors for the scene as well. He had Unorthodox as well. And I think he just done a lot of his best writing within this time period, man. Retrospective was an amazing album as well. And yeah, so I've got him in there for that. And Gets was just Getsin', innit? Like he was like lyrically sharp. He was clashing everybody. You know what I mean? Boy Better Know, P Money, like, do you know what I mean? And he was just holding it down.
The clashing thing is why I've got someone in my Mount Rushmore.
I just don't think you can escape Gets in that period. And then Skepta was, he was on his
Skepta thing.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go next. I kind of went on a new generation vibe because from like 2014 onwards, that's when the new generation come through and they start making a splash arguably bigger than some of the people in your Mount Rushmore. So I've gone for Skepta because he was just ever present throughout the decade. In early parts of the decade, obviously he was doing the pop stuff. Later half of the decade, he's out here just, you know, becoming America's darling, becoming essentially the grime scene savior, essentially, and bringing it up to heights never seen before. I'm then going to go for Stormzy because I feel like, obviously, he dropped Gang Signs in Prayer, first UK rap #1 album. Just the fact that, even if he is a plant, he did come through and he became our new golden child. He became our new guy. You know, Dizzy was our guy back then. Stormzy became our guy. Even if the music isn't good to someone's, to my standards anyway, I can't deny the impact and I can't deny the success and I can't deny the fact that he is nice on the mic and all that as well. So I give that to Stormzy. I also say Dave for similar reasons in a way, because again, he came through where the scene was becoming more and more known to people, was becoming more well-renowned as well, and he proved he was one of the nicest of the new gen. Arguably is the nicest, arguably. Dropped Psychodrama as well, which won the Mercury. Yeah, man, the fact that he came through playing the piano and that, like, it was a breath of fresh air for me anyway. So I give it to Dave as well. I'm also going to say Jay Huss as well, because never seen anyone like him, like, in the UK. Just as far as his music, his personality, he came up around like 2015 and dropping stuff like Lean and Bop, Friendly, Common Sense album, Big Conspiracy. Like, yeah, man, he did a lot, man. He did a lot. Just as far as introducing like Afro beats, Afro swing into the musical world, as far as the UK goes, gotta give it to Huss, man. So that's me.
Cool. I've gone for, let me just pull it up. So I went for, no need to get into it, you man already broke it down. So I went for Skepta, Gets, Stormzy, and J Huss.
Feel you.
For the same reason why you said, I guess Stormzy and Huss had that back end, that second half of the 2010s. So you kind of still have to give them their respect on the Mount Rushmore just because they weren't there at the start. Doesn't overstate what they've done. Do you get what I mean? Like, they don't have to be there at the start as long as what they've done is solidified enough. And I think what Stormzy's done, having the first #1 album, having the second #1 song, I think it was, J Huss to me arguably makes the best music in the UK the last 5-6 years that we've seen, whether it's the albums, whether it's the singles. I don't think there's an artist in the UK that makes better music. I think him and J5's tandem is perfect. So that's who I got on Mount Rushmore.
Feel you. And for the present day, who you got for the present day, Pete?
Man, I mean, based on what you man have just said, I might have calculated it a bit wrong, because I've got the man that you've just put in that period, I've put in the 2020s. I've got Stormzy, Dave, Sims, and J Huss.
Feel you.
So, I don't know.
Who'd you go for, Ian?
I went for Stormzy, Dave, J Huss, and Heady One.
Yeah, I don't
Who'd you
know.
go with?
I might have to recalculate the previous period now. Because I think
It just depends.
I think Huss dropped in like 2018. His first album dropped 2018, innit? And
No,
then
2017.
2017. Yeah, and then Stormzy was like 2018, 2019?
2017. as well.
2017.
First album 2017, yeah.
And then Sims, I feel like became Sims in the last couple of years, maybe.
Yeah. 2018.
And then Dave last 2-3 years.
Nah, I'll give Dave.
Dave dropped
When did Thiago Silva come out?
2016.
Yeah, so he's been about since then.
Okay, all right, fine.
Well, even the collab with Drake dropped in 2016.
Oh, what, Wanna Know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been about for
Yeah.
time. But then that's what I'm saying. So my 2020s is a mix of both. So I've still got Stormzy, Huss, Dave in my in present day as well.
Because they're still making waves
So
in the
they're still
present
making
day.
waves.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they've done enough for me to be put into the 2010s as well. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
overlap is still there.
Yeah,
It wasn't like their first album came out 2019.
It's kind of a similar argument to put in gigs in the 2000s and or
yeah.
sort of thing.
But I feel like we've come to a similar understanding.
What was yours?
I think I went for the same thing. Yeah, I went for Stormzy, Huss, Dave, and the fourth one I was struggling with. They didn't know who to put in there, so I'm gonna go with Little Sims. I think that's a good shout as well. Trying to think any honorable mention, guys.
Yeah, for me, Sims in the last couple of years, there's not many UK artists that have been like creatively better than her.
For you.
Any honorable mentions?
Sims, Nines. I think that's it for now. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for now.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Can't think of any.
I don't.
know.
Yeah.
Fair dues. Well, that was fun, guys. But we're
That
going to have a
was
little
very
bit more fun for the fun topic.
That was a bit techie. I've got to rethink a couple. I'm not going to lie to you.
Listen, this is what we wanted, bro.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is
not
what
going
we
to
wanted.
lie.
This is what we wanted.
I'm not content with like my last couple. I'm not content.
You made him think. You gave him food for
Yeah,
thought.
man.
That's all we do here. That's all we do here.
Yeah.
We're here to educate, my man. But yeah, while you ponder, let's go into the fun topic, which is basically us picking one artist from each of these eras to make a super Mount Rushmore. So I guess that's just one
So we start
one big 4-1.
Yeah.
one big four
For both,
Oh.
for UK and US.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for US, I've got Kanye, Tupac, Nas, and Jay. I just don't think there are more influential rappers than those four
Fair?
across the whole of hip hop history.
Fair enough. I've got Tupac, Ye, Jay, and Wayne. I don't think.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
that Nas one might be a bit of a bias.
Oh, so we all gone for something different.
Oh, you went for something different
I've
as well.
gone for Pac, Kanye, Jay, and then Kendrick.
Interesting.
Okay.
I just feel like I didn't want to add too many, because the Nas era is the same as, I just don't want to have too many of them, if that makes sense. And I feel like Kendrick deserves to be on a Super Mount Rushmore with what he's given us.
But then,
but it is what it is, though.
Yeah.
If the artists particularly have come from a period,
it's not their fault. I mean, I
is.
hear you. I just went for Kendrick just because I don't think he could. I think if he gives us one more album on the level of Good Kid, Mad City,
Any of them,
or even Damn,
if he gives us one more album of that level, it's undeniable where he stands. So I don't think it's a stretch to say he's already there. If we're waiting for his one more, do you get what I mean? So that's my fault. I think Park. We all know.
Yeah.
Jay's my favorite rapper of all time. Kanye, the influence is ridiculous. And then it was, to be honest, it was Wayne was there, but I just thought, let me just go with Kendrick because the way he brought rap into the forefront, I think.
See, I struggled with putting Wayne there because, and I know this doesn't make sense entirely, but me putting Wayne there is like admitting that in some way he's better than Nas.
I get why that's why.
Do you know why? Do you know why my mind would go there? I know that's
no. That's why. That's why I didn't do it because I was like Kendrick. I could justify.
But that's why I struggle with lists. I'm not great at lists, man, because it's difficult for me to shake off
this person's better.
What I personally have been influenced by.
Yeah, I suppose there's always going to be an element of subjectivity to it, but it just boils down to who you think has been more important to hip hop as a whole, the culture, the music, and all that, and who's been the most influential in that.
Then I think Nas has been more important than Wayne, but Wayne's influence, I don't think it's necessarily been a good influence, but there's been influence there.
It's an influence nonetheless.
But is that why you're saying that you think Nas is more important?
Yeah.
Because his influence is more to your taste?
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
See, we can't do that with lists like this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That's why he don't do lists.
Yeah, that's why I don't do lists.
Yeah, that's why we can't do that on lists like this. It's got to be more objective ones.
What's your UK one? Yeah, me.
Wiley, Dizzy, D-Double, Skepta. For me.
Ooh.
Pete?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because that just goes from the start of grime anyway. But, it covers everything, man. It pretty much covers everything. It covers from when we first started listening to UK music really like that, other than like So Solid, to now. So
I might have to go back and like do my history on D-Double because I've never seen what everyone else has seen. I hate everyone big him up, put him in these lists.
I think it was a moment in time.
I've just never understood it.
I think it was a moment.
He's important, man.
I've got my Mount Rushmore for the UK. I've got Skepta, Gets, Kane, or Wiley. That's the four I went for.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
For me, I've got Dizzy, Kano, Giggs, and Wiley.
So you don't just refuse to have people from Tottenham, innit?
Oh, shut up, man. I thought about Skepta, but you know how I feel about Skeppy after what I put in the group chat. So that's gonna come out. That's coming at a later episode. Guys, don't worry. But
suspense.
That was actually really fun,
Yeah.
This listing.
Well, shout out to all the rappers involved. Man.
That was difficult though, man. And I'm not entirely happy with like all my selections. So I think I'll probably will go back in my own time and like rejig some.
And bring it to the group.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey man,
because there's a couple of years that I think I would like change. Especially those last couple decades in the UK. I think I might need to amend those. But I think that speaks to how out of the loop I am as well.
I mean, as long as you're
aware.
Hey man, self-awareness is important, man.
Self-awareness is important, and contrary to what social media tells you, you can actually change your mind. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But that was great, guys. But we're gonna wrap up now. So thank you once again for listening. Any shout outs you guys want to make?
Pete.
Big up Cleo Soul. Big up Salt.
I feel that. Mohammed?
I ain't got that shout out. Let's go France.
Feel you. So we'll sign off now. So, thank you for listening, and you'll hear from us again in 2 weeks' time. Until then, follow us on all the socials at rhymeslikedimespodcast on Instagram, RLDpod on Twitter. Give us a follow on Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, man, we'll see you soon. Until then, take care and peace.
Peace.
Safe.